Good morning, guys. This is Ace. I'm back with another Transformers review, and this time we're going to be looking at the Transformers crossovers Marvel Universe line, and specifically the 2-pack of Spider-Man and Iron Man. Now, these are not the normal ones that you get. It's a special one that they've kind of come out together and they've combined. So here's a look at the boxing itself. It's very, very nice the way they've done it. They've got a whole section to Spider-Man on one side, and on the other side you've got Iron Man. And it looks really well, the artwork they've done, and they do combine. I mean, on the back of the packaging itself, you know, one side they literally show you've got 2 modes here for Iron Man and in his robot mode as well as alt mode. You've got the same thing on this side for Spider-Man, and I think actually, you know, Spider-Man looks a lot better than Iron Man, which is good, because Spider-Man is one of my favorite Marvel characters. And then you've got this, which I thought was quite funny. This is, in my opinion, the Gerwalk mode. So this should be interesting to see how it looks like. And finally, you've got the combined mode where you've got the Super Bomber. So overall, not bad. It does advertise this right out of the boxing itself, that it does have 6 modes, which is a little bit devious because it doesn't really. You've got 2 figures. Each one has a robot mode and a alt mode. They do kind of combine to give you some half-fast Gerwalk mode, which is, you know, not completely transformed or combined together. So, and then it tells you you've got a couple of other ones. Now, I do not actually have the proper Spider-Man. I thought it looked really crap, so I did not get that. I don't have Wolverine, but I do have this guy. I've got the Venom version, and Carnage is just the repaint of Venom. It's a nice one, I guess, but the articulation and the proportions of the figure are just so out of whack, it's not even funny. But the alt mode itself for Venom is fantastic. That's what I display him as. So let's get this guy open and see what he looks like. Okay, so once you actually have him out of their packaging, you surprisingly don't get too much. You obviously get the 2 figures themselves. You've got Spider-Man in his helicopter mode, and you've got Iron Man in his, I want to say X-Wing mode, because you can technically open these up for both his assault mode and Super Bomber mode. And literally, I mean, this guy looks more like something out of Star Wars than anything else, you know? So, anyway, we'll come back to that. So you get the 2 figures themselves. You do get 2 missiles. And that's it. And this is a problem for me. I mean, I don't know why that you've got 2 completely different alt modes and both of them can technically use missiles, but you only get 2 missiles. Why can't you give 4 so it's kind of balanced out? I mean, I don't want to put 1 missile per alt mode, and I don't want to just give both of them to one figure and not the other, so And you also get the instruction sheet. And this is pretty detailed. I mean, on one side you've got the details of it changing from mech mode or alt mode to his robot mode, and on the other side it gives you the instructions of how to actually combine him. So the first one is when they actually combine it to Super Bomber mode, which is when these both combine to make a full complete Super Bomber. And the other one, they call it Heavy Assault mode, but technically this is the Gerwalk mode, where you've got Iron Man sitting on top of Spider-Man's shoulders, which is, yeah. Alright, so let's have a look at these guys. We start off with the good one, which is Spider-Man. He's pretty cool. I mean, honestly speaking, he does look like a helicopter in all forms and purposes. You look at it from this side, he's a helicopter. You look at it from this side, he's a helicopter. I mean, okay, fine. You've got an empty cavity there, and you can kind of tell that these are going to be the legs, and you've got, you know, look typically like thighs. But, you know, apart from that, he's good. He looks exactly like a helicopter, and I like helicopter formers anyway. So it's not a bad figure. And honestly, I mean, it's Spider-Man, so you can tell he's got all the details of Spider-Man with the red, the blue, the black. You've got the Spider-Man logo here as well. So he's not bad. He's much better than the motorcycle version. And I like this also. You've got 2 Helicopter blades. I mean, you've got one for the tail, which does rotate quite freely, and the main ones as well. Both of them do rotate freely. You just have to move them yourself. There's no other way. And these are two blades, by the way. You cannot split them up. When I open them up at first, because they've got this line going down, I thought you could split them into four, but no, there are two. So all in all, I like this mode. It's pretty cool. The only issue I can see is over here. It does look like it's missing something, but you know, there's not much you can do about that. Secondly, let's have a look at Iron Man. Iron Man is literally something out of Star Wars. He does look exactly like one of those X-Wing types, or as close as you can get to it without it being a blatant ripoff and going into copyright issues and all sort of details. So otherwise, you know, it's a little bit more bland than Spider-Man as well. You've got fewer details on the Iron Man alt mode. You've got the red, you've got the yellow, you've got the black, and a little bit of white here and there. But again, they've done a good job in hiding it. I mean, okay, we're Transformer fans, so we know these guys are going to be the legs. We can tell these is going to be the arms, no problem. But if you don't know that this transforms, then it's done a good job of hiding it. I cannot complain, really, honestly. Otherwise, it's a pretty decent alt mode. I mean, if you forget the Star Wars thing, it does look like some kind of jet, super jet. Well, not a superjet. It does look like something futuristic, space vehicle type of thing. So it's definitely better than the actual Iron Man that we got as a standalone figure. So, well, it passes. I have no problems with either of the alt modes. So these guys do pass the first test. Both of the alt modes are passable, then they're not really bad. And no glaring parts, robot parts in their alt modes. They don't really have landing figures. I mean, okay, Spider-Man does have the back one, and the front part of it rolls on this. You know, you can see the small little wheels, but that's it. It would be nice if there was something up front here also. And as for Iron Man, this guy doesn't have much at all. He's got a little bit here, but this is going to be for the transformation. There's nothing here in terms of landing gear, which is a little disappointing. But then again, I'm assuming that because this guy goes on top of Spider-Man, that they're not going to give you landing gear, because I'm assuming that these guys are assuming you're going to display them as a combined mode rather than as their individual modes. The transformation for Iron Man is actually quite simple. It's not that involved. It's pretty straightforward. It's what you would expect from any simple deluxe former. Even though this is more of a Voyager size, the transformation is very simple. You start off, you just lift out this, and you can open them up that way. These little thrusters over here will become the legs, but I like the way they've done this. You completely move them out, and then you fold out the heel from the back of the thruster. And then you do that for the other leg. If you can see, this is the thruster of the jet, and you just open it out, stick out the leg, and open up the heel. So these give you some pretty good feet. Now here's one thing. You've got a very articulated waist. Originally, I thought that this is going to be for the transformation, but it's not. It's actually completely separate. It's going to be used for something else. I'm sure of it. Just to finish off the transformation of the legs, make sure you close up the back parts. And this really tidily puts away the legs and does it in a nice way. The shoulders themselves, we just open it up that way and push it down. We do the same thing on the other side. We lift it up and push it down. The chest is actually pretty cool. I like the way they've done that. It's literally, you open up the cockpit area like that, push it down like that so it opens up like that, and then it just folds down on the chest, revealing the head at the same time. So, you know, this is what you could say about 90% done. The wings are a little bit disappointing. I wish they had found a different way of putting them away, because they just stand out too much. I mean, you put these down, little tail fins, and then these wings, you just open it up this way, because it's got the hinge over there and the hinge over here, and then you close it up. So this literally takes off maybe an inch from your wingspan, but you still have the big thing sticking out from the backside, you know. So there you go. And take out the hands, just push down on this, and out pop his hands. So here we have Iron Man in his robot mode. He is okay. He does have some major balance issues. The main problem is the way his legs are done. The backpack isn't that bad. It looks weird when you look at it from the side. It's almost like, you know, you wish they were higher up a little bit, just a little bit behind his back and not so far low. But from the front is okay. His biggest problems are his knees. He does have some articulation because of the transformation, but the trouble is that they're very loose. Either you lock him up so that his thighs are resting on the kneecaps. This way he will be able to stand without an issue. But as soon as you try to make him go back a little bit, he is going to fall back on the back part of his legs. So balance, these joints, the knee joints are an issue, making the balance very bad. So you literally just have to have him standing up. Otherwise, you know, looks wise he's alright. Proportionally he's pretty cool. You don't have immensely long legs or arms, you know, everything is proportionate to the character itself. And I like how they've done this, you know, it just the front part of the ship itself folding down and revealing the Iron Man's chest engine, you could say, or chest reactor. I like that touch. It's a very dull color though. It's almost like, I don't know, like a grayish white color rather than a bright white. But it's okay. Articulation wise, I mean, the wings do have a little bit, but we won't get into that. The arms would have been able to go 360, but once they come all the way here, they get stuck at the wing, so they're not going to go. Otherwise, they do have 360 at the shoulders. They don't rotate under the shoulders, and you only get a 90 degrees bend at the elbow. Technically, you could have gone up, but these things are so thick that they hit up against the biceps, so they're not going to go anywhere. The hands are actually pretty cool. You don't get any articulation in the fingers and the thumb, but his whole hand does swivel. And the other cool thing is, he's got the little blasters in his palms, which is nice. I'm happy they gave him that. You know, it's this little bit of detail, which I like. Legs goes high about that much, goes back very far actually, but that's mainly because of the transformation and there's nothing to get in the way. And the knees, you only get, what, 20 degrees, 30 degrees? That's it. If you open this up, you can get a lot more, but then there's no balance on this guy whatsoever. He's gonna fall all over. So apart from the standing issue, he's got an alright robot mode.